For our first story, we have, why is my mom, 70 female, telling guests to buy cheaper alternatives to the items on my 33 female wedding registry? I'm trying to understand why my mom, 70 female, would tell guests to buy cheaper alternatives to the items on my 33 female wedding registry and then check off what I requested from my registry. I'm especially confused because she didn't do this with either of my brother's wedding registries. I don't think I put anything too outlandish on the registry. The most expensive thing is a $480 CAD pots and pans set, but we also have $50 items on there. The average item price is $120. For example, she took offense to the Staub kitchen gadget set I had on the registry, which is a cookware set with 10 different spatula, spoon, tongs, and is $180 CAD. She said, they could get you a $30 different set off of Amazon. I did have a conversation with my mom and asked her not tell guests to buy cheap versions of the registry items. I also explained my reasoning for the items I had on the registry, which is that my fiancé and I have been living together for a while, so most of the things on the registry are meant to be upgraded replacements of things we already own. My fiancé and I already have a cheap spatula set that is perma-stained by tomato sauce. It'd be nice to get a set that lasts for a really long time. She just said, okay. I think she understood my reasoning and will stop. I just don't get why she would be so offended by my wedding registry having expensive items, since that seems pretty normal from the weddings I've attended. She doesn't like getting luxurious gifts. She specifically asks for rubber gloves from Dollarama in her Christmas stocking. My parents are comfortable financially, so her austere preferences are confusing to me. Like they own vacation properties, and yet she uses a ripped spatula when serving in cookware with Teflon peeling off. When the almond milk Listershire recall happened last summer and 3 people died, I asked her to please throw out her almond milk and she wouldn't and said, it's probably fine. So I had to go behind her back and make Dad promise to throw it out. But she buys nice gifts for my siblings and I and her grandkids though, so this thing about the registry was unexpected. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, frugality when you're living comfortably tends to be more emotional than logical. That's why you have people dropping thousands on vacations but refusing to turn on the heat to save a few bucks. Something in your registry might have just happened to sit with her wrong. Why would anyone pay $180 for utensils? Utensils are cheap. And then she could have started viewing the whole registry as overpriced. It's not logical, and it doesn't necessarily say anything about your actual registry, your relationship with her, or any comparisons with your brother. Unless there are other instances where she treats him differently. Our second commenter says, it's very rude to check things off of a registry that haven't been purchased and isn't your registry. Why does she have admin access to do so? Registries are suggestions anyway. They're easy for guests, but people may certainly choose to buy something totally different or give cash, etc. They're not contractually binding upon sending in an RSVP for a wedding. Our third commenter says, the fact she was perfectly fine with your brothers requesting expensive items but you and her are not allowed to get those same gifts screams internalized misogyny. For our second story, we have, partner doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day but gets pissy about steak and BJ Day. Me female 27 partner male 27. So me 27 female and partner 27 male. He says Valentine's Day is for single people and doesn't celebrate it but called me today asking me if I know what day it is. I said no. It's steak and BJ Day apparently. He then asks me if I've got anything planned and I said no. He gets a bit pissy at me and said he'll remember that when its mothers have a 3-year-old boy. I said that's fine as you didn't get me anything last year from him. My friends stepped up and got me flowers, chocolate and a card. I always get him Father's Day card, presents from our son. I make sure his mom and dad get stuff from him and our son on Father's Day. Am I being overly dramatic in being upset by this? Edit for everyone asking why I do so much for his family and make sure they're all celebrated. I grew up in foster care and only have my sister who was fostered with me. Before him I had 2 very abusive boyfriends, so to me him being like this was what I thought normal was. I didn't have the best upbringing and his family welcomed me and treated me like one of their own and I have nothing but love for them. I never knew how a family was supposed to be till I met him. It took a bit of getting used to. I also love gifting things whether it be handmade or bought. I like everyone to feel special and loved as I never had much of that growing up. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, I gotta be honest, a man who thinks this is a real holiday and wants to enforce it but won't celebrate Valentine's Day with you is absolutely not worth your time, LMAO. Find someone more mature. Our second commenter says, just tell him that steak and BJ Day are only for singles. Our third commenter says, WTF. I'm all at 35 and have never heard of this nonsense. He sounds like an asshole. For our last story, we have, my wife, female 34, of 15 years confessed to me, male 37, that she cheated on me with my best friend 17 years ago before we got married. I don't know what to do. I feel betrayed by two people that I love. She confessed to me a few months that before we got married about 17 years ago, she invited my best friend over when I was at work to have sex with him. According to her, she was always attracted to him and she was tired of his fighting all the time and that she was tired of staying home all the time with our 3-month-old son. She says that she didn't think I was gonna care or that he wasn't going to bother me that much if I found out. She tells me that one day after an argument we had, she messaged them on my space asking how he was doing and all that kind of stuff. One day a few weeks after chatting online, she invited him over. She told him that I wasn't home and that he should come over to hang out with her. According to her, when he got there, she took him straight to the room and she laid on the bed. She told him that he could sit or lay right next to her. She says that he rejected her offer and sat on a chair next to the bed instead. She says that she was confused as to why he didn't want to lay with her because she thought that he wanted to come over to have sex with her and that's what she wanted also. She then says that after a very small and awkward conversation, he told her, I think I'm gonna leave, and then she said, are you sure? You don't have to. I don't know what to believe. I feel like she is lying. When she first told me about it, I asked her why she invited him over. She told me that she just wanted to hang out with him, that she wasn't planning to have sex with him or wanted to have sex with him. After months of arguments and me telling her that I didn't believe her, she finally tells me that she did have plans to have sex with him, but nothing happened. That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, she is leaving anyway. She only told you this to deflect from what she is actually doing now. If that big confession is the distraction, what is she doing now? Our second commenter says, what, so did they have sex or not? Our third commenter says, call your best friend and tell him you know he had sex with her because your wife confessed. You'll know by his answer what happened. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.